Lawmakers and supporters of Senate Bill 247 were all smiles as Governor Sununu made official a measure that will strengthen New Hampshire's lead contamination laws.
We wanted to make sure that whatever we did was real, that had a substance to it, that communities knew that the state was standing behind them.
The bill will require blood testing for all children 2 years old and under and lower the threshold for lead hazards. Before this, the state standard for blood poisoning meant some children weren't sick enough to receive treatment.
One of the critical things this bill does is it reduces the action level for New Hampshire to be in alignment with the Center for Disease Control's recommendation of a more protective 5 milligram per deciliter standards.
Senator Dan Feltz was the prime sponsor of the legislation.
It was truly a team effort, a bipartisan effort, a bicameral effort, and that's a testament to elevating the issue of children above everything else.
The bill also sets aside $6 million in loan guarantees to help with abatement projects on rental properties in hopes of mitigating lead exposure before it sickens children. In Claremont, Mike Cherry, WMUR News 9.